Before I get too much ahead of myself talking about next year, I want to talk about this year and close it out with our player of the year. And so, Cody, I will pass it to you first. Who is your player of the year?
All right. Sorry, I was thrown off you calling me the C word. All right, player player of the year.
I forget
me,
your name sometimes. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I know. It's all right. My player of the year, and really, it's just you could have picked 6, 7, 8 different dudes. I feel like, but I got to go with the Gink, Kevin Ginkel. I mean, the guy finishes the regular season with 9 wins, 1 loss. He goes a 2.48 ERA through 65 innings, 70 Ks, and 23 walks. But the postseason, the dude didn't give up a run. I mean, he had 1 win in the postseason with 11 2/3 innings pitched, 15 Ks, 5 walks, and guy was just electric. I mean, he was shut down. No one could hit him. He was, I don't know. I mean, you could argue in that Phillies series, he was either number 2 or number 3 on that list of who's going to win NLCS MVP. Obviously, Ketel Marte was most deserving of that, but you can't just glance over what Kevin Ginkel did in that setup position, pitching in the 8th inning. The guy is just electric. And you got to remember, this was a guy that got sent down to the minors in June, and then he comes out and he literally was a good portion of the talk of this D-backs baseball team through the postseason. I mean, everyone was talking about him, and just him shutting down some of those big names on that Phillies lineup. And dude, that guy's slider was just absolutely nasty. No one could hit it. But what he did coming back from, kind of a lackluster start to the season, getting sent down, bouncing back, coming up and being a huge, huge part of that bullpen, of the transformation of that bullpen. That bullpen was the absolute worst the first 2-3 months of the season. And now you could, going through this whole postseason run, the last month of the season, you could argue that that was one of our biggest strengths as a team. And Kevin Ginkel is right in the middle of it. He was ahead. So he's got to be my player of the year. And man, I mean, like I said, I wanted to pick Ketel. I couldn't pass up the Gink.
Yeah, you gotta love the Gink. He was solid all throughout the year and kind of the only guy in our bullpen for a long time who was able to be relied upon. I agree with you about Ketel Marte. I mean, everyone knows he's my man. We share a birthday down to the year and the date. Love my boy Ketel. Cornerstone of this franchise. I mean, it was incredible what he did through the postseason, especially setting that record. What was it, 20 games with a hit streak? And how fitting that streak came to an end in that loss in Game 5. But, man, I would have to say for myself, my player of the year is Christian Walker. I know. He didn't have a great postseason. Wanted more out of him once the playoffs started, and especially could have used him in the World Series. But in the regular season, he was the reason that we got to the playoffs and to where we were. I mean, not the only reason, but a big part of it. You look at his stats, he had 33 home runs, a team leading 33 home runs. He led the team in RBIs with 103, and he had the most doubles with 36 doubles, 86 runs, which was third on the team. But man, his bat was electric all year long for the most part. There were a couple weeks here and there where he kind of slumped a little bit, like I mentioned in the postseason. But Christian Walker is an absolute stud. Another Gold Glove for him, 2 years in a row. Someone that we didn't see coming at all. I mean, after Paul Goldschmidt left, there was a huge void to fill, and I think he's done it, guys. Like, I think he's filled Paul Goldschmidt's shoes, which is crazy to say. Yeah, that's why Christian Walker is my player of the year. Mike, who you got?
I got to say the same thing as Tallman, man. This one was really tough because there were just some guys this year who had stellar years. We already know this. I mean, you talk about the all-star Lourdes Gurriel, right? 24 homers, 82 RBIs. I have to shout out, even though you guys have already said his name twice, we got to triple down Ketel Marte. I wouldn't be surprised if his playoff performance was because of the all-star snub that was absolutely caused on Ketel's front. He should have made the all-star game, but 25 home runs and 82 RBIs as well. But we all know who it is. We saved the best for last. My player of the year, and probably everybody's player of the year, even though you guys picked other guys, it's Corbin Carroll. Second on the team in games played this year at 153. He led the team in average with .285. He led the team in OPS at .868. Led the team with 161 hits. He had 30 doubles, 10 triples. You can probably say that more than half of those were just stretched out from his sheer hustle, right? He was tied for second on the team with 25 home runs with Cattell, and he had 54 stolen bases. And this was going back to what Tallman was saying. Corbin Carroll stands alone. He is the first rookie in MLB history with 25 home runs and at least 50 stolen bases. This kid just jumped onto the map, and I can't wait to see where he goes from here. His speed is so electric. He's very witty when it comes to, controlling the base paths, understanding when to attack. He has great speed in the outfield as well. We saw plenty of web gems from him this year. And he's sneaky with the bat, man. He knows when to pick his spots, and he has some good power for a guy who's a little bit smaller. So Corbin Carroll, this one might have been the easiest of all of the easy recap picks that I probably said this season. When it comes down to player of the year, it's Corbin Carroll.
And I have to jump in on this parade, Mike, because you're absolutely right. Corbin Carroll is the Diamondbacks player of the year. I think, honestly, like everything you guys have been saying, whether it's the steal of a contract he's on, the way he performed throughout his rookie season, guys, his rookie season, you can talk about the World Series where we're up against veterans like Corey Seager, who is a World Series MVP, now a two-time World Series MVP, one in each division. Only other player to do that is Reggie Jackson. And Corbin Carroll's a rookie, man. So he could be, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm just thinking he could be our Mike Trout. He could be our Pete Alonso. He could be the guy that is the cornerstone of our franchise that keeps us competitive year in and year out, despite other guys that might come and go throughout that. And right now we're in a window where I think with as young as our roster is and as cheap as a lot of them are, they have room to build on top of that.
My plug